Hello! So, rigging for animation. Today I rig this character here for my short film. Let me show you. See, so this is the main character for my short film, and today I rigged this character, which took me a lot of time. And the thing is, like, I would like to share here the logic behind rigging this character and everything that I did to build this puppet. So we go from like macro to super micro to all the parts of this character, and just as a result, after rigging the character, I do this test with the poses so I can see if the rig is actually working or if I can actually match the poses that I have on my animatic. So, well, I'm still working on that one, and at the end I will pose this final pose here, like, is something to have the rig and to pose the rig freely as you just eyeball everything. And another thing is to be aware of the 3D world that exists around this character and build this character inside of this 3D world. So this is how it looks, like just me eyeballing and moving the rig around. And this is how it's supposed to look like if I treat this character with correct perspective, with the volumes and how the features of the face are placed around the surface. So all of those things are the things that I consider when I'm rigging, so I can just test the rigs at this point and be sure that it's going to work. So this is my camera view, in which here is that I look everything that I'm working on. Here is like the character in the render view, how is that is looking like. Look at this bot. So I did something really cool here, and is that I create these purple things around the character also that are well, I like to call them visual pegs. People call it like to call those like handles or something like that. But these visual pegs allows me to grab parts of the character without having to manually go and select the thing, because I'll have to go look for this eyelid, select it and move it. These handles here allow me to just move faster and be more efficient. So I create those type of handles for different parts of the character. This character is still in progress, so these are just a few handles that I created. But I stopped to talk about these things because this handle is my favorite handle. You'll be like, what? You'll be like, what is that? And I'm like, yeah, look at this. This is the butt. So I can enable these things, and boop, the butt of the character will appear. And that is and this purple thing here will not appear on the render view, so I can only look at this when I'm working, and the animators will look at this and be like, oh, okay, this is a thing that I have to use to enable or disable the part of and a specific part of the character. So this is the main character. Forget about all of this mess here. This is the main character, Tom, and if we go inside of this Chihuahua, we can see all of these rig built in these different parts. Like we have the body, we have the head, and here I forget to put a backdrop, which is this colorful thing in the background, just to have everything well organized and just visually appealing to work with. So I have my face here. I will create a visual pack. I'll create a backdrop for this. I'll go here, insert backdrop, and then I'll just keep organizing this, and I'll call this face. And maybe I can put a pink color. Over here I have my hair top, and my ears. So I can call this, like, I don't know what. Look at these things around when cleaning this. So I'll create another insert backdrop, and I'll call this like top head, something like that. And I'll put a purple color. So yeah, now I have everything well divided, organized, and all of this is part of the head. So I'll hold Alt so I can grab all just the backdrop and not the things that are inside of this, and just extend. So I have my head, which is which is the most part of the character, and I have over here my body, which includes my lower body, my torso, and the tail. and all of this is grouped here. So I have these in one main group, and I have all of this in another main group. So this is something interesting that I would like to share, and is that before starting to rig, I have to think, what is the final look of my characters? What is the clean-up look that I want to achieve? And I have clear reference for this. First of all is the old Cartoon Network styles, when we have the thick lines in the outside and thinner lines in the inside. And here's when it comes like the logic behind the rig, because I had to go through many different videos of different shows and try to understand how they build those characters, so I can do the same here. So for example, I will bring here this screen. Boop, 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 boop. Look at this. So here we have this Billy from Billy and Mandy character, and this is something really cool that happened with this character, and is that the outer line is thicker and all the lines in the inside are thin. And not only that, the moment the lines inside of the body goes like inside of the body, the line stops being thick. It's like the thickness of the line is just around the character. But if we go with like other shows, like for example, Kick Butowski, if we go to Kick Butowski and I look for a scene here, let's go here again. When I was working on Dogshit, I create all the rig, and imagine like I create the rig, and behind the rig I put a composite, an effect node, which made everything like an outer line. Made it automatically creates an outer line that doesn't affect the line in the inside. But the problem is that when I used to do that, the lines starts to turn, the corners of the lines starts turning rounded. And these lines here, when I use those composite nodes, it starts turning rounded. And I didn't like that, because I really, really, really love I really love the style of playing with super sharp corners like this, and not with rounded corners like this. And this is an issue that I'm having right now with some deformers. But if I turn this render view, you can see how can we have here like a straight line and sharp corners. And that is something that I noticed here on this Kibutowski show, and I start thinking like, oh, okay, they are not using any other composite node to make the line in the outside thicker. They're actually drawing the line with the final thickness that they want, and then just putting the formers on top, or rigging the character on top. So that's an important part of this process, just going and do some research and trying to deconstruct or reverse engineer how is that they made this stuff, and give it a try, and that's what I did. I tried both, but this time, because on Dogshot, on my previous short film, I already did that. It's like, no, I already know the result of that. Now I'm going to try this Kick Butowski way of creating these thick lines and thinner lines in the inside. Like here, for example, this line starts turning thin when it starts going inside, and it's like, how the freaking is that they did that. And then I grab the leg. For example, this is something interesting. If I grab the leg and then I start putting the leg inside of the body, the thick line disappears. And that's something that it took me time to think. It's like, okay, if I am not using like effects or compositing effects in Toon Boom, where I can find like crazy stuff, I can tell Toon Boom, hey, give me a node. This is a node. Give me a node that makes the thicker outline in the contour line, makes the contour line thicker, and Toon Boom will give me that. Of course, I'm just trying to explain it easily, but I was like, no, because that thing ruins my sharp corner. So how can I achieve these things? And I try another way. Is I build every piece. I build the piece with an outline, a thicker outline behind, and a thinner outline on top. And then I tell the software, reveal the thinner line once this piece starts making contact with the part of the torso, and keep the outer line cut by this part that is revealing the thinner line. So the torso is cutting my outer thick line, and is revealing my inside inner line. That's how I thought about it, and that's what happened here. So let's go for example on this pose over here. See, for example, if I were to take this outside of it, see, it starts becoming a little bit thicker. And if I put this in the inside, it keeps the line to be thinner. And that's something that in Billy and Mandy happens. In Billy and Mandy, where everything that is inside of the characters is thin, and everything that is outside of the characters is thick. Let's go again. There's a super super funny scene from this episode. Let me see if I can find it here. And and now the thing is that I'm trying to do is a merge between both, so I can take advantage of the super cool sharp lines on the outside. So let's look at this again. See, all the parts inside of the character, or the lines inside of the characters are thin, and all the lines outside of the characters are thick. And that is the main idea for the style of this short film. Cool. So I went from here, from the outside of the rig to the inside of the rig. Now that I have the style that I'm looking forward to achieve clear on my mind, I have visual reference from other shows. Now I can come here and be like, okay, I know what I want to what I want to achieve. Let's work towards that goal. And that's what I did here. That's what I did here. As I mentioned before, this is the trick that I used, or the logic that I used to build these pieces here on the body. And another interesting thing that I did is that I created another version. So every limbs, every arms have the possibility to flex like this, and I can manipulate all of this. I can break the character, deform the character to get to a specific shape, or I can take this part and say like, you know what? Because another thing that I have in my mind is the pneumatic. I'm always looking at the pneumatic, and it's like, what I need on the pneumatic, and how can I create this rig to be specific, to work specifically for the pneumatic? And there are some parts in which this dude is like surfing on the P and getting inside of the robot, and in some parts I want the arms to flow or to move from pose to pose. And if I were to clean these, and if I were to move these arms like this and clean and go and clean every frame to go like this, it'll take too much time. So I was like, okay, let's create two type of legs for this dog. Let's create the legs that can bend like this, and I can deform every part. And let's also create another type of leg which I can easily deform with only one curve in the middle. So I can just grab 2 points on the leg and move the leg. So I can do something like this when he's surfing on top of the P. And I did that with the other pieces too. So I can also use this type of legs. But I have both, so I can have that flexibility during the process. And even if my other friends, when the moment of helping me on this project, on the animation process, they have the options to take any of these and use whatever feels more comfortable for them to use. So those are the things that I did here on the body. Also, the tail have the same logic. It's like I have behind the tail, I have a thicker outline which is only revealed when the tail is outside of the torso. And when the tail starts getting inside of the torso, the line starts getting thinner. And here exactly the same thing. It starts getting thinner. And of course the butt here. That's the logic behind the body. And then we go here to the head and the neck. These are, so the three big parts of the characters is the torso, the neck, and the head. And I group this to move like this, and then I can connect with one line all of this from here to here. And that's something that I like to have on my characters, is having being able to achieve this flow between the neck and the head, so everything is connected with only one line. And I can polish these lines. I can just go here and be more specific. There you go, something like that. And that's something that I've been looking throughout in many different movies. So, for example, these are some drawings that I took screenshots from book from the Nine Old Men, and here you can see, for example, this cat over here. See all of this one line that happens from this part of the hip all the way here to the foot, or here this chicken all the way here from the belly all the way here down to the leg, and that one lining thing, that one line that happens on the design, it's something that I can use a lot while animating and play around to make my character feel connected. So that's something that I'm using, and I'm taking from this as inspiration here to this style of animation, which is also very they use it a lot on this type of Hanna-Barbera type of style of animation. So this is the main rig of the character. There are some issues. It's not finished. I have to troubleshoot and find out what is happening here. And while I was working on this, I started doing these poses to test. Like for example, here I know I was looking at the animatic and also here in Toon Boom, and I was just looking at the poses that I had there, and then coming back here to try all of those poses that I had there. This is my favorite scene from the animatic. Oops, oops, oops. So here, this is this other one here, and yeah, this is a good part of the process to try and to test the character to see if it's actually working. Another thing that I do here in the eyes is that when I go, so we are here on the head. I go here in the eyes, and my eye is just this big thing here. I have my pupil, another node, in another layer, and is only revealed inside of this white part of the eye. I have my eyeline here that I like to make just to make the character feel like a little bit tired. I have my eyelids here that I can move like this, and I can also grab and deform and just have different shapes. Imagine if this dude is disgust, I can achieve that expression with this. Another thing that I added to here during the process of rigging, because this is my project and because I don't have like someone supervising this or like having like final designs approved, I can just keep tweaking, keep improving the character design and doing as many modifications as I want. And that's something that I was trying to do here, and I was like, yeah, let's put like an eyebrow piercing here on the dude, and I put that piercing there. I included here in the rig piercing, and I can move that around and animate that with the character. While I am working on this, I like to draw on top just to double check all the design and everything, and try to make the try to be to make sure that the design makes sense. So here, for example, at the beginning when I brought the model sheet, let's look at this. Here in the model sheet, when I drew the hair of this character, these shapes that you look at here in this part of the hair was not clear. It's like, yeah, a bunch of triangles, just everything going that way. But there's not like a graphic shape that is containing all of these little shapes inside. And I noticed that. I was like, yeah, I did that in a run and I didn't put too much attention. So how can I group all of this part of the hair in a big shape? So it's like the design makes sense. The design makes sense. I can break the design or I can push the design, not by trying to look at every single hair shape, but as a big shape and then go in the small. So here I came up with this big shape here. It's like we have this here, and then we have, let me change my brush. So we have this big shape here. This is like a triangle here, and then this is two straight lines, and then we have an S line here, and this S line here, imagine this is a triangle here, and this is an S line that goes like this. This S line is containing these little parts here, pack, 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 pack. And when I break that big shape into with smaller shapes, that creates this super nice silhouette here on the hair. And that's something that I did here on top of my rig while I was rigging. So if I turn off this, you can see that this is the final result. That's what we have on the rig. So those are one of the things that I did. Then I also went to draw around the form. I draw the skull here, just to make sure like the volumes, I'm respecting the volumes, or I'm putting the character like actually around the parts. So I move these things, it's something like that. And then I put the rig on top. I'm always drawing on top of the character like this, so I make sure that my character is on model and with a proper construction. It's very well constructed. So nice. These are the things, and the rig is almost there. The other two characters are super similar to this dude in terms of the body design. So I will just use the same rig and reuse the same structure of the rig and just change the head. So that's essentially it. And as you can see here, I not only draw on top, but sometimes instead of spending too much time thinking like, dude, should I create this part of the like, should I create this mouth? Should I make just add all the mouth in one layer, or should I divide the jaw and the upper part of the mouth on different layers like this? And that's something that I was thinking, like how versatile I need this rig to be. And I was like, you know what? Let's create two parts, and let's sync the layers. And that's something that I did here. I sync the layers of the mouth, of the upper mouth here, with the jaw. So if I want to create a super custom mouth, for example, if I want to do something like this, I create a new layer, and automatically the jaw disappears, and it's like, okay, now I'm going to be sync to a new layer that this dude is going to be creating on my main mouth shape. So if I create like a mouth, so if I create like a mouth like this, like this, now see my drawing substitutions, I have this empty layer here. Over here my yo is waiting for me to tell him like, okay, are you going to put something in me or not? And I can maybe put something like this, and I'll have both. Oh, let me put this because I'm working like this. Okay, so is that flexibility that I have to keep the rig super simple and easy to tweak, because I'm not depending on this project on the rig to go to a certain pose, or to flow from pose to pose. I'm actually breaking the rig a lot to get that extra entertainment value that I'm looking for. Because once I cannot depend on the rigs to get like a good animation. Like good animation is independent. It's like from your skills. If you're a good animator, then you'll have good animation. The rig, you can have like a super simple rig, and if you're a good animator, you'll have like a good animation. But if you're like a bad animator and you have like a wonderful rig, it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. So I like to keep the rigs super simple, so I can actually move faster in the animation process. I can tweak, destroy the rig if I want. And if I put too many nodes or too many layers, then the animators, then my friends, when they will help me on this project, they'll be super crazy. They will not know how to break this character, or they might be like scared of breaking the character without not knowing like how to recover how it was originally, right? So those are the things that I do. I try to keep the rigs super simple, and then on each scene we start breaking this dude like crazy. These, for example, as I was mentioning, these are the notes that I put because it takes time. If I were to, because I did it, I made a mistake. I try I try these two options. These are three different options on how to rig the mouse of the character. The first one was to divide the upper part of the mouth and the lower part of the like the jaw in two different layers. Like this is two different layers, two layers. This is another one that was like, I don't know. Yeah, it was the same one. It's like creating one layer, creating one layer, and telling Toon Boom is like, I'm creating this drawing layer of this mouth of the dog, everything, and this is the head. And I can do something like this. I can put like I can put a green shape here that will not look through the render view, only we can look at it, or I can even hide this and say like this green layer cuts the head, and I can just draw manually a new mouth drawing if I need one. But I was like, no, that takes a lot of time, and if I want this to move faster, I'll need a mouth that I can deform and let Toon Boom to in between some of those in between some of those movements. And so yeah, this option was like, no, too many drawings that we have to do manually, and we have to move faster. And there was another craziness. This was like one layer which have this shape, and then I create another layer which is a cutter that I can cut. But it is not comfortable to animate in that way. It's not comfortable to have a shape that is creating the negative space within the shape. So you have to think in reverse. You have to think about animating that negative space to create the actual shape of the mouth. And it's like, no, too much. That's not a comfortable way of working. So I was like, no, let's go in this way. Let's connect these two parts of the mouth and being able to do this. I think that's the normal way to work on these things, and the way that I decided to go with on this project. This is what I achieved for this character. Those are the main things. So instead of taking hours in trying each one of this, I took notes. I brainstormed here, and I had a bunch of this, like for different parts of the body, without actually instead of actually going directly to rigging, just taking some notes, doing some drawings and figuring out in my mind before putting the time on the work. Because this takes time. And if I just lose time trying different things, I'll never finish. So that's with this character, and now let's see how I can post this on top of the drawover that I did to actually match the perspective and also the animatic. Look at this. This is the pose. This is the pose of the animatic, and this is the rig. Okay, so this is the rig. Come on. This is the rig. Come on, la concha. There you go. This is the rig, and this is the animatic. Now, something that I figured out is that in the animatic, I mistake the order of the eyes. In this side should be the smaller eye, and the other side should be the bigger eye. And that's something that I'm going to update here on this posing that I'm doing here, and it will look something like this. So yeah, let's go for it, and let's look at how it looks like. So this pose here, let me show it to you, like how it looks like here. So this is this pose over here. So going back to this is this pose. Oop, see, this is this pose. If I go render view, you can see here I have the line thickness that I want, the arms going around. I have these little issues here that I can just tweak manually here. There you go. Better silhouette. Move this a little bit over there. Pop. Perfect. So now, let's pose this dude. I'll come here, put it here, pop, and then coming all the way here, put it this like this, tuki. Now, this is another thing that I realized while drawing this pose, is like I was going to leave this hair like just one shape, but then I was like, while drawing this pose, I can play with each individual part of the hair. So now I'm going to rig each part of the hair and then putting all of those together. That's why I'm doing this important step of testing the rigs with the poses that I'm going to have. Dude, and the other things that I'm thinking a lot about is about the three-headed Chihuahua, the monster, the big one. That dude is going to take me some time. So I'm going to prioritize that dude, and also the robot. The robot is going to take also some time. I will now that I read this little dude here, I can wait to rig the other tree because I'm just going to copy and paste what I did here, and so I'll take the heavy lift first of animating the air fryer and the three-headed monster. I've been receiving super nice feedback for the animatic, and yeah, I'm waiting to update the animatic super soon. But I have to also move faster with these rigs because I'm hoping to start animating in 1 week. In 1 week. I'm still thinking a lot about like my friend that told me like he made a song every 2 months. Like it's possible for him to create a song every 2 months, and I'm still like, how can I optimize an animation process to achieve that in 2 months? But well, I'll try not I'll try not to lose quality on this one and keep pushing, putting some time, putting love on this one here. There you go. Something also that I noticed because when I post the rig, just eyeballing, I I forget some things that I put on the animatic, and is that I just made the arms like this instead of being like this. So this upper part of the arm on the animatic, I put like an angle to make it feel more dynamic or a little bit more compressed, like this. So that's something that I could brought back from the animatic while doing some draw overs on top. Oop, oop, oop. Now here also too. Let's move this a little bit like this. So instead of having like 90-degree angles, I can push these angles like this, so it actually feels in tension. Like, and here the butt, I have to create a new one because this one that I drew here, I didn't like it. And I created a new one here, which only so I was. That's why I start drawing on top because sometimes I for I lose time moving things around like pieces around the rig without realizing that the answer of how the things are have to be designed or drawn is simple. And I was putting like the butt all the way around here. It was no, the butt ends here, and that's something that I could just figure out by drawing on top instead of me moving the pieces around and figure out like why it's not looking good, why I'm still moving the pieces, no, I will use my superpowers of drawing and find a solution. Like at the end, all the skills that I learn, or all the things that I have, yeah, all the things that I have learned, all the tools and different skills about related to animation are only tools for me to problem solve. So, so yeah, I think that's the end goal, right? Of just learning many skills is to be able to have different tools to be able to problem solve. Boop. Exact same for character design. Like character design is something that helps me big time when I'm animating. And knowing animation is something that helps me also big time when I am doing character designs, because I can think on how can I design a character that actually works for animation. Uh, a little bit like this. There you go. See, see this line here. See this line over here? This line here? This is telling me the perspective, and I draw this butt cheek higher than the other one. But this should be here. That's why I draw on top. And that's when, after drawing, it's like something doesn't feel quite well. Why? It's because of that. It's because of those things. Get out of here, get out of here. Nice. Maybe I can bring this a little bit like inside. There you go. Now I can put this. There you go. Perfect. And then I'll color this. Toku. Also, we have the butt there of the character. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Okay. I still have to. I still have to fix this part of the mouth because when I render this, I lose all the sharp corners that I want to have here. No, so now so this posing this character here now became my new checklist, and it's the okay Henry. What else is missing on this rig? Is rig the 3 pieces hair. What else? Fix fix the sharp corners. But this is something that I will put here, like ask for help. So I have friends that are riggers, like are actually they are build artists, super specialized in this, so they know every single thing about rigs. So I can just say I have this issue, and I can just avoid spending 4 hours on this thing that I already put a lot of thought process. So nice. What else do I have to fix here? Yep, those are the 2 things. So 1 and 2. If I go to another pose, here is the same issue because I stopped posing this pose because I still have to fix this, which carries here the same issue to this pose. Over here I'm having well, here I just have to move this a little bit here to the front. There you go, and now it's revealing, and this nose goes on top. Yeah, here for example, nose tends to be behind, so I'll put another note here. Up, 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 up. Check layering of the nose. What else do I have to do here? And this is the thing. See this one line here? Let's go back. Oh, I cannot show here. Wait. Look at this fox over here. Look at this fox here. This one line that goes straight from the armpit all the way to here, and then turns and goes around. Imagine that that thing is this. And that flow is the thing that I like to find on all my characters. So nice. That's it. That's the logic that I put behind my characters, because yeah, there are many videos on YouTube on how to create like auto patch, how to rig arms, how to rig eyes, and all those things. But something that I wish I saw before is like all the hustle and all the troubles and all the behind the scenes, and how different artists approach rigging in different ways. Like how is the logic? Wait, if I am throwing like this type of info, let me go all full screen. Like I would love to see like how different artists think, what is the thought process of all of these different rigging artists, build artists while building the characters. Because sometimes it's not only about stealing the information or the knowledge, but also stealing the thought process of other people, because everything starts from here, and then everything just manifests into the actual skills and to the actual techniques that we do to create something. So for me, first here, and that's the thing, it's like even when I see someone drawing, I'm like, why? I'm not like, ooh, that line goes from thick to thin. Why that dude put that line down? Why is that they're putting that they're putting more pressure on that line there? What statement they want to put down on the paper here in the rig doing the rigs? What is all the thought process that goes? Let me go like this. Let me put this screen. These are all thought process. These over here, this is all thought process too. You want to track the volumes, to be aware of those things, be aware of the angles, of the shapes. How am I going to design the final shapes of the hair? All of these things. And those are tools that you can steal from me and then start using in your personal projects. And as I mentioned, it's something that I would love to see when I just start learning from all the thought process of different people and just having more tools under my belt. And that's what I wanted to show here. My thought process, the logic that I have behind rigging, and why it's important to test the rigs before going to animation. And while testing the rigs, you are actually able to see and find all of those little issues that the rig have, make some improvements, and maybe if there are some mistakes like I have, make a list and being able to work smart towards those things on the list so you can have a very cool rockstar rig. So hope this helps and see you next time. I hope to start animation super soon, so I'll be working like crazy on these rigs. Bye bye.